he does.
Welcome to The Collective, where every conversation ignites a new perspective. Join us as we delve into the journeys of remarkable individuals, explore the art of growth, resilience, and the power of a shared mission as we strive to be better together.
Hey everybody, welcome back to The Gold Mine. We have another fantastic show for you planned out today. We're doing the Veteran Photo Contest number 2, and I am excited to go through all these images. And while I am excited, you should be too. Like the show, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, do all the good stuff, get your emails when we go live, which is, of course, Wednesdays for The Gold Mine, Fridays for The Collective. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, and I want to see all of your guys' what your ratings are for the photos as well, so that we can talk about them. So make sure that you give us your ratings as we go along. And if you have not also already, make sure you're signed up for the Reinforcement Loop. That is our weekly newsletter, goes out every Sunday, talks about what we talked about, but then also a little bit of brain candy for you to think about in the background later on. Absolutely excited for this one. Look at that. Satch jumped in here first thing. Good morning, team. Good to see you, buddy. So let's talk about it right off the bat. What are your thoughts on the photo contest so far, Pat? What do you got?
For this particular photo contest, for speed?
Yeah, for this or just in general. What's the vibe you're picking up from 1 and 2?
Well, I mean, I love that people are submitting, but there's not enough people submitting. We got some really rad stuff coming in, and I think I mean, maybe we'll run a poll or something like that. Maybe for the next, maybe we'll vote on the next topic or something like that. I don't know if it's the topic or what. Run a poll or something, but I'm still stoked to see what we got, and I'm glad that some people are taking the time to take a shot and not overthink it. Just take a shot and submit it.
That's it. Just take a shot. And I got to say, we were chatting in the background a little bit here, and Sean was holding us accountable in the fact that we were a little bit quiet on the Instawebs about the photo contest, but I am stoked to see what we got. We got 6 entries here, so we're going to go through all 6 of them, and we're going to hit them piece by piece. Sean, what are your thoughts so far on the photo contests overall?
Well, of course, first one, we got more entries. And I think that's because, well, it's a new thing and it's exciting and I want to get involved in that. And we, as a group, pushed it pretty hard. I know I pushed it pretty hard for sure, and as did you guys. But this time, maybe it's not that we rested on our laurels, but I think I dialed it back a little bit to see how things would flow maybe a little more organically. And now we see that we have to push a bit harder for competition number 3. And as we said in the first competition, this is a 12-part series. It's going to last the entire year. So I personally prefer to see how things evolve. So first contest was awesome. Second contest, still awesome, but just a little less attendance. But that just makes me hungrier for number 3 next month, where we will freaking crack it out of the park.
And sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say, guys, too, like for people that are watching and want to be involved, I mean, you may not have a good camera. So, I mean, let us know what you, like, if you feel that you don't have the tools or something's kind of like becoming a bit of a roadblock, like hit us up and I'll do, like, if you guys want, I can do like one on just iPhone photography, just a quick tutorial and just a couple quick little things that you could do, or whatever, right? Or we can talk about exposure triangle or whatever. And if the next topic is a specific thing, I can give some hints and tips and tricks on how to make that happen. Like for speed, I could have maybe done a quick blurb about panning,
Yeah, and this is stuff that I would like to learn, honestly.
That's what we should do. That's that's not even a coulda anymore. Next month we're gonna. It's gonna be a gonna happen, and that is one of the great parts about this contest is, like, I'm learning things, of course. Pat's learning things. Chance is learning things. We're all learning things, but we should not just take the passive acceptance of let's just learn some things, perhaps casually, maybe by happenstance. We should be driving out knowledge while we're learning ourselves. And so, Pat, for sure, let's next month, depending on the topic, let's tie something together so that there's some technical skill set, maybe some emotional skill set, maybe some intellectual skill set that we can apply against this task at hand.
I'm down. And, on top of this, I was just thinking about polling for the next topic. I think this is a great idea. We should absolutely poll the people. That also gives us a little bit of build up time where we can say, hey, you know, what do you guys want to hear? What do you guys want to see? What kind of stuff do you want to learn? Blah, 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 blah. Let the community develop what we want to, what we're going to do from there.
Also,
I really like that. Yeah.
One more thing. I'm happy to give bonus points. In the last show, I said that there'll be no 10 out of 10s. No one's going to get a 10 from me because of the Nadia Comaneci Olympics situation. What do you do when you give someone 10 out of 10? How do you go higher? I've never forgotten that since I saw Nadia Comaneci on the bounce beam. And so, but I will give bonus points. And I just decided that this morning, just before we came into the podcast. So sorry, boys, I didn't, obviously I just make up my own rules, and it's not a rule. We probably won't do it anyway, but here you go. Here's just a thought if you want bonus points for next month. So I put up a post just a few minutes before we came into this live podcast, and I did a riddle in my video. Create a little riddle, and I'm going to read out the riddle right now. And maybe if Chance has got some technical prowess, he can pull up the video as I'm speaking. So here's the riddle. What am I? I'm measured without touching, chased without a net. I have no body, yet I wear many skins. Cheetah, comet, rumor, light. I grow when space stretches or when moments shrink. I vanish at rest and erupt at the starter's breath. The topic? See you at 1100 hours on the podcast. So the topic, of course, to the riddle is speed. And so if you want bonus points next month, throw us a photo and attach something to it that is like value added. Something that is like, what? That's gravy with the photo? For sure, I'm giving bonus points. Haiku, bring it.
I dig it. And I can still pull up the video if you'd like. I got it right here. It took me a little while, but no. All right, we'll carry on then. I'm digging. I like that. Bonus points. I'm down with that. We can even set up a scale on how many bonus points people are going to get and off of what. I am digging it. Now I got a couple comments here. Just want to touch on. Dan C. Good morning, gentlemen. What exactly is the speed of an ass kicking? That's a variable degree, but you can turn it up to 11 if you need to.
I'm down to less than a quarter of a second. So
less than a quarter of a second. That's pretty good, I got to say. Satch jumped in here. He said, I think opening up the competition to everyone would get more entries, not just veterans, first responders. Yeah, you're right. And then he says, my camera is a 2-year-old cell phone. So awesome. This is why I want to learn more.
2 points.
Yep.
Like I spent 4 years shopping for my Sony A6700. When I started shopping for a camera, that camera didn't exist. And so like I've shopped a lot, but while I was shopping and not owning a camera for all that time, I was taking photos with my phone. And so one thing that you can know for sure, Satch, and anyone else, and myself included, in fact, it was Mark Hamlin that hit me with this in one of my live chats back in the day. And I said, man, I'm jonesing for a proper camera. Like, I love photography. No one really knew that I was a photographer per se a few years ago. And I said, I'm shopping hard for a camera. And Mark Hamlin said, well, just use an old camera that you've got laying around. If you're a good photographer, you'll be able to take good photos with anything. And he was right. And I didn't like that he was so right. And so I actually took it on as a little bit of a personal sort of thorn under my skin that, oh, he is right. And I'm going to frickin' pursue it with my phone for now. And I pursued it with my phone for a few years until I got this bad boy. And now it's all gravy. But to Satch, I totally get how it feels like it's holding a person back, or you feel like, you don't have the magic sauce to get the magic photo. It's not true. It's not true. Mark Hamlin was correct. You can take a really good photo with almost anything. It's the intention that counts. That's for sure.
That's a great point. That is a great point. So with that under our belts, you guys want to jump in? We'll get to the first photo and we can just go from there. All right. So we got 2 from Dallas Reynolds. We're going to hit both of those and then we're going to work our way down right off the bat. Here is the first one. Speed. I dig it. Take it in for a second. Think about it. We're thinking composition, technical skill set. What do you guys think? Again, out of 10, where are you guys hit. Let's start with Pat. What do you think, Pat?
I like it. It's a great shot. Froze the action. I mean, it's not like you're going to get a pan at this angle because it's oblique. So freezing it was the right call. And, you know, he's mid corner. So, yeah, I dig it. Me personally, I think I would have been bold and cropped it pretty hard. I mean, sometimes when you're taking track photos like this, it's more about, you know, providing the rider with a shot. But if it was going to be like, I think for a competitive shot, I would have cropped it a bit. But no, it's a good. It's a great shot.
I dig it. Sean, any thoughts?
Yeah, I feel the same way as Pat. I think I would have cropped that bad boy. But, you know, like Pat and Chance, take a look at that. Maybe I'm looking at on my laptop screen, which is a high quality screen right now. I don't have it on my big monitor, but it looks like as I look at the Canada flag and as I look at the awry on the helmet, it looks like it's a bit soft focused. It looks like it's just a touch out of focus. And so maybe the photographer cropped back from the image so that you don't pick up that hint of out of focus if he would have really cropped in. Or maybe he was just on a really long telephoto lens. He could have been like half a mile back down the track. And if he cropped in anymore, it would have started getting pixelated. So to me, it looks like it's just a soft focus or on the verge of heading towards pixelation. And so maybe that's why he went with that crop. That said, if this was really crisp, really well focused, I would have cropped that in, and I wouldn't have had any of the background viewers, any of the crowd sort of standing around in the background, particularly the dude with the almost finished glass of probably alcohol.
The drink in the background, which I dig. Yeah, I really like it. I hadn't noticed the soft focus, but you're right. Now, when you take a look right at the details, there is just a bit of a haze on the edge of everything. And but I dig it. What are you guys scoring it at? What do you think? Out of 10?
I'd like to just add one more thing.
Okay.
It's not that I'm being overly hard on the crop, but there is a way to incorporate the crowd in the background, but it would have required someone in the background doing something notable, something maybe out of the ordinary, like hands up in the air,
right, being
or
shocked
a surprise,
or some sort of like yeah.
You know, maybe his drink is in the air, whatever. It doesn't much matter. There's a dog or something notable, something that actually adds to the photo rather than detracts from the photo on the crop. So to my technical score, I got to ask you guys a question. It's a refining question. We didn't really talk about it too much. Because this McPhotos 21 is probably a professional photographer or someone who has some photographic background, I want to judge it a little harsher just because I expect a kind of a track photographer to be aware of some of the things that we've said. So I kind of, if it was a regular photographer, I'd give it a 8. If it's a proper track photographer, I'm kind of going to give it a 6. I know that sounds super harsh, but
that's okay. That's okay. I was sitting at a 7, so that's where I'm sitting. Pat?
No, I'm still going to give it an 8. There's a couple things here that I think is worthy about this. Is one, he's out trackside, so he's gone through the effort of getting out there to take the shot. I'm going to try to avoid judging him harder because he is obviously a track photographer. It looks like, or he at least got probably a media pass to be inside on that track. The focus is soft. I completely agree with Sean. Probably shooting super wide open because he probably had a shutter speed just jacked to freeze the motion, so you get that fall off after the number plate. And yeah, he's probably shooting 2.8 or 4 depending on what the speed of his lens is. But yeah, the crop would have helped it so much, so I'm gonna give it a flat 8.
Okay, sweet.
I've just spent just a touch more time looking at that photo, and Pat, you might have a bit of a more critical eye. Maybe you do, Chance. But if you look behind his bike, just behind look at the white line on the road, right at the tail end of the white line, just about an inch or two behind his bike. That's where the focus point was grabbed.
Yeah.
Right on the white line. So, he might have had his photo focus set on a single point focus, and he was focusing right on the middle of the track, right on that white line distinction there as the white line ends, and I think that's where he grabbed his focus point. And as the rider was passing through, he grabbed his photo about a 1/8 of a second too late. Yeah. I'm not tearing the guy down. I think it's a great photo. I'm just being kind of technically.
It's a really good photo. It's like,
It's
I
a
mean,
great
it's
photo, of course.
well, we'll see what we got down the road. But I think this is a strong start.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, creativity, originality. What do you guys think, Pat?
So creativity, I'm going to go with 7.5, only because I might even go 7. Let me just think about this for a second. But creatively, we could have cropped that photo. And I don't even care if it would have been slightly more pixelated or a little bit less out of focus. I think that everything in that background is really it detracts from what's happening with that rider. And like Sean said, like if the reaction of the crowd was different, or there was difference in the background, but there's, you got bright oranges in the background. You got a guy that looks like he's not that impressed. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'm going to say, I'll say, actually, I'm going to slam it a little bit. No, I'll say 7. I'm saying 7.
Yeah,
sorry.
Flip flopping more than anybody else.
I'm all kinds of flip floppy on this photo, but I'm a 7 on this aspect.
I actually wrote a 7 as well. Look at that. We're all in agreement. So on that, then, relevance. I'm going with a 9 on this
9.
one. Yep.
Relevance, yeah, it's a 10. It's a 10. I mean, it was more. Fine, 9.5. Fine, 9.5.
Okay, and then I guess artistic factor, Stoke vibe. This is where we're at, Stoke vibe. See, and in my opinion, the vibe would be, if it was cropped really well, the vibe would be a lot higher.
I'm at a
but
7.
Because the background really does, they just look not impressed. It's hard, right?
Do you know why it's I'm struggling with it? Is because it feels like the camera setup was capable of more than what I'm getting out of the photo. I'm actually getting almost 0 3D pop. And that's because maybe the touch of the soft focus, but the aperture setting should have been giving more pop to that photo. And I'm just not getting it. And that might have been a little bit of post-production, maybe because this was a race photo, or maybe because the photographer was handing out hundreds of these things throughout the day. Maybe he or she didn't have time to do some post-processing, like improving the contrast, bouncing the contrast, sharpening things up, blah, 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 all of the things. It just feels like it's missing the polish. So,
yeah, I dig it. Pat, what do you think?
I'm going to give it I feel like I'm going to give it an 8. And that if the crop would have been there, it would have been better. It would have been better. And the only reason I'm being a little bit more critical is because I do know that, this person's obviously watermarked their picture. They're inside track. So they probably had a chance to do this. So please don't take this the wrong way. But if you're a trackside photographer, there's a couple things that you should always be looking for. And that is your backgrounds. And that is something that took me a bit of time to learn. So when I shoot drift, I am looking at my backgrounds all the time, trying to find the best spots where either, I don't want like equipment in the background. I don't want, trailers and echo trailers and weird things or signage. I'm trying to pick spots on the track that I can get clean shots of the rider. So, and I'm only trying to pass this on for us all to learn, because
for sure,
I'm always learning and we're all students.
I'll add this, that before I take a photo, I don't look at the subject. I look at the background, and then I look at the subject. I position my background. Like, I'll walk around. If I've got someone in front of me that I want to take a photo of, or a bike in front of me that I want to take a photo of, I'll walk around the subject until I get my background that I want. And then I'll start thinking about the subject more. And so I don't do it the other way. I don't look at my subject and nail that and then start thinking about how am I going to get my background right. Background doesn't move quite like the subject can be moved. And so I nail my background first, and then I work on the subject.
That's a great point. I'm learning every day. Every time we do these, this is like gold for me on how to be a better photographer. So that's a fantastic point, is to understand your background before you move on from there. Any other thoughts on this photo? You guys are good to go across the board?
No.
Sweet. All right, let's jump. I'm going to jump to the end of the line, and then I'm going to work my way back in. So Dallas, that was a great one. Here we go. Dave Kervin dropped this bad boy in, and to Dave's credit, he was the first guy in too. So this is what I love it, and I really like this one myself. The right off the bat, composition and technical skill. What do you think? Just thoughts in general. What do you got?
I like it, and I'm gonna. If we're looking for a score, I'm actually gonna give it an 8 because I think that's kind of a tricky shot to get on what looks like a phone and handheld. Like it's just such a small package that I'm gonna say to nail it, which is a loose term. It's kind of difficult to do on a phone. So yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 for a phone shot.
I like it. I'm pretty sure it was a.
Was it a hand?
DSLR?
Was it a?
Because he did put
it's down to a
photo.
7.
Right. Okay. There you go.
Sorry, Dave.
I love it. Pat, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Because he obviously probably took the shot a couple times. I know he was using a long lens. It could be wrong, but I think that long lens was a kit lens. Even if it was a long lens, it wasn't something with a fast aperture. So he probably had to fight with the fact that, you know, the widest aperture was probably like 5.6, which means that he probably had to jack his ISO, which kind of makes it a bit muddy. And personally, I don't like the crop, but I love everything else about it. And I would have, it would almost have been interesting to even maybe vertically crop this, like a portrait shot, like a vertical crop would have been kind of good for this. I don't know what's going on to the one edge of that frame, but I would have actually moved everything over personally. But yeah.
I dig it.
And on focus, it looks like the focus grabbed the top of the left ear or the mid back of the larger dog. And so the eyes are out of focus, the teeth are out of focus, the tongue is out of focus, the leading edge of the dogs are out of focus. And so really the focus point was missed, but that's a result of probably the kit lens and it just not being a super fast piece of glass, which is tricky. Like, I love the fact that it froze the action. And everything that Pat said is I also agree with, but the focus spot was missed, and that might be something for Dave if it was taken with a long lens and on a proper camera. That's a matter of him selecting the correct focus method. You know, whether it's single point or continuous focus or etc. So you'd have to look at your camera settings, Dave, to make sure that your camera might not be intelligent enough with AI to select dog or select animal within your menu, which mine can, which of course Pat's can. And so if you want to get better photos of the dog, select dog in your menu, and then it'll track the dog eye.
This is all new information for me. I am digging it.
And I'll add just a little bit of like just technical for everyone. And I'm obviously going to have to, we're going to definitely start pushing out some more, I guess, workshop-ish or shorter videos. But just so everyone else, if anyone else is watching this, so I'm talking about like, you know, like the fact that he had to shoot with a smaller aperture. So that means his ISO had to be jacked up to do the shutter speed to be able to capture this. So talking exposure triangle, whenever you have to compromise in one part of that triangle, one being aperture, the speed of your shutter, and your ISO, anytime you have to compromise one of those, everything else has to compromise as well. And I'll do a small video on that later, but that's kind of what we're ending up with here, because his focus, he probably had to shoot as wide open as he could. He did miss the focus point. Still a cool shot though. I like it.
Yeah, but you know, what is great, you can see the larger dog kicking up the grass. So like there's motion is frozen quite well. With dust and dirt in the background. And so really it's just a matter of that focus point. And as Pat said, the ISO is probably jacked, and so it is a bit muddy with some noise in the background and throughout the entire image. So for Dave again, or for anyone, that noise can be reduced in post-processing. I use Lightroom Mobile, Lightroom Classic, and so within that I can shoot at ISO 2000 as I did this morning as I was taking a couple of photos of my coffee. And then post-processing in my software, I just reduce all of that noise down with software.
Bam. I love it. I'm so moving on to creativity, originality. What do you guys think overall? Like, I think it's a great original creative shot because hard to get this to set up and work well.
8.
But yeah, 8.
Yeah,
I like it.
It was intentionally set up with the idea of covering the topic, and so like it was a thoughtful capture.
Pat, what do you think?
I'm definitely get a solid 8. Solid 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. We're in agreement on that one across the board. Relevance to theme. What do you think? 9?
9.
I agree as well. That is speed summed up. And of course, the last one, artistic factor, stoke, vibe.
8.5.
8.5.
8.
8. All right, cool. I was at 8 too, so we're good to go across the board on that one. I quite dig it.
Like, so for anyone who's listening right now, if the dog's eyes would have been crisply focused, and if Dave's lens was capable of capturing more 3D pop, the vibe on this photo would have been like mega. Mm-hmm. And so the image itself only lacks for just a tiny couple of technical details, and it would have transformed that moment into the decisive moment. But because of just a couple of technical errors, it's not. And because it's like a moment in time that was frozen not at the right time, just simply because of 3D pop and focus. So it was probably 1/10 of a second, 1/15 of a second missed. Just a tiny hint of a miss, and then he would have nailed it. So
yeah, that's a tough one to to take on. I do want to say, because I mean we keep saying this for sure, is that this is it's a technical assessment, right? We're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings by any means, or like try to take away from them taking the shot in any way. Like, these are great shots. That I love the fact that people are submitting these and allowing us to do this. So I just want to again,
well, and also handing off some tips. So another tip that Dave can maybe take on is myself. I only shoot single point focus. So I half press my button, grab a focus on whatever point I want, then I'll take the shot. And I just take one shot at a time. I don't do bursts in my camera. I don't do a 5 burst or a 3 burst or a 10 burst. But on moments like this, if you're not starting out on photography, but if you really want to nail the moment, you'll switch to burst photos. Because you can press down your button and it'll just sound like this. It's like an A10 warthog blasting off. And within that sequence of photos that you snap off super quick, you'll get the photo that you want. But it depends on how your head works. For me, that feels like cheating to me. But that's just how I'm wired. I just want to grab the one, it's the sniper in me. One shot, one kill, as it were. And so, Dave, you could have used some sort of continuous burst mode on your camera, and I think you might have nailed that one.
I got a question here from Sat, jumped in here. He said, for those of us who are trying to learn, I think it would be helpful to explain some of the terminology that you are using, i.e. ISO. So anybody want to break down what an ISO is? Pat, what do you got?
So ISO, that came from like grading film back in the day. Basically, it's just to make it super simple for today, and we can get into it more later, is that ISO is how sensitive you're making your sensor to the light, right? And so every camera has a native ISO, and the lower, for the most part, lower ISO that you can go, the more clear and tight your shot will be for like pixelation, because you're just making it so that, I don't even know how to explain it. because I can go down such a rabbit hole right now, because you have RGB friggin' like pixels. So just think of them like beer glasses, right? And each one's gonna fill with a certain amount of color, right? Of those three colors in the spectrum. And based on that, we'll make up like what 13 million different colors. And then how sensitive the friggin' sensor is going to be. So the reason that like film got really grainy back in the day, I'm so on a tangent now, was that like really high ISO film had more larger pieces of silver in it, so it actually come out very grainy because it was very reactive to the light. But your camera sensor is the same way, like in a digital camera. So as you crank up that sensitivity, you're inducing noise into the camera, and so those RGB beer glasses we just talked about can't fill the best, and you're going to get pixelation and a bit of color aberration, all these things. So the lower you can go, the better.
So and for you, Satch, you'll have seen every morning when I go down to the heavy bag, whether I shoot in black or white or whether I shoot in color, if you watch me kicking the heavy bag, maybe yesterday as an example, it's really easy to see, or easier to see, in super slow motion. So when I'm shooting 240 frames per second, in the background, you'll see kind of like just a little sizzle. There'll be like little sparkly dots or little black dots, and it'll feel like there's just a little shimmer in the background. I'm in focus and you won't see the shimmer on me typically, but in the background, because it's just a touch out of focus, you'll see a little bit of a shimmer, like a mirage almost. And that's not really what is going on, but that's kind of a layman's explanation of a mirage effect, a little bit of dirt in the background. And so the lower your ISO, the less dirt in the background. The higher your ISO, the more dirt. And so yesterday and today, I shot in 2000 ISO on my video. But yesterday there wasn't much light coming into the basement. Today there was more light. I don't use any artificial light when I'm shooting a video or camera mostly. So depending on how much light there is, if it's low light, I'll have to crank up my ISO, which makes the background dirtier. I hope that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm digging it. It actually reminds me very much of like night vision, when you have to scale that.
When you've got the green, the old school green MVGs, and you see the little bit of, that's kind of like ISO-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it is. It fully is, because
it totally is.
Yeah.
Sweet. I like it. Now, at least now I know what to look for. That tells me that'll be awesome. All right.
And
well, what do you got?
I was just going to say quickly though, like when it comes to your iPhone, I don't think you can set your ISO manually. So at the end of the day, and I will talk the whole photography, like the whole exposure triangle, another day, maybe on a separate video. But the biggest thing is like try to be in a spot where you can just get good light. If you're using an iPhone, and if you're not using a camera phone, then you can go in and actually set brackets. Like you basically can bracket the ISO to like tell it to stop at a certain point, instead of just letting it go, because you let, I think mine's like 108,000. But the only way that that's going to look good is maybe in black and white, and that's about it.
That's right, yeah. There you go. And sorry for Satch, I cap my ISO out on still photos and on video. I cap it out at 2000, and so it's rare that I'll ever go any higher than 2000 ISO, because I feel like at 2000 my software can kind of manage that, but beyond that I start to see artificial artifacts in my still images or in my video images. And even cleaning it up with software, I still feel like it's a bit of a dirty photo to some degree. You can't escape, as Pat has called it, the triangle. You can't escape that. It's just physics. It's playing with light. And light is simply math, and you're playing with math in an image. And so the more you understand the triangle in the moment as you're just prior to taking the photo, the easier it is to play with the triangle post photo. So before the trigger pull, you know your job. After the trigger pull, if you've done a good job, it's easier to make it look amazing.
It's almost like pre-planning prevents piss poor performance, something like that.
Yeah.
I love
P&P.
There you go. So let's jump into another photo here. We got Satch's actually right up, so we'll throw his up and we'll take a look at it right here. We got Speed, and he did put a little blurb over the kid's face, so we don't smash it over the internet, which is fine. But the what do you guys think right off the bat? We got composition, technical skill overall. What do you think, Sean?
It's a soft focus. We've just come out of talking about ISO, and so ISO, and you can see how the device, maybe a phone, is struggling to capture enough light. I do kind of like how Satch is incorporated, because this is the way my photography eye loves to see things. I love layers, so I appreciate how he's got the bars. I kind of, when I'm looking at the photo, I want to lean forward and grab that bar and just put my head above it. You know what I'm saying? And so depending on how someone's mind works when they see an image, you can shoot a photo so that you actually encourage a person to be more actively engaged in the photo. So these kind of quote unquote props of having the bar there, for a guy like me, I want to reach out and grab it and look over into the photo. So that's a thought. I like that. I like how the person is being frozen in air. So that's good. But I feel like the greatest limitation of this photo is not imagination and it's not intention. It's simply equipment at this point. So I know I came on saying like you can shoot photos with anything. You can. But it's way easier to do it with a good camera. In this case, Satch would have had to try a lot harder in this fine settings within his menu for the camera to pull out like more magnificence.
Yeah. What do you think out of 10 though?
I was just giving you my first thoughts.
Right. First thoughts too, but yeah.
I'm going with a 7.
There you go. I like it. Pat, what are you thinking?
Yeah, no, it's a cool shot, and we'll talk. I'll kind of hammer Sean's points to some of the good stuff here. So I love the layers. I love being shot through the bars. It's either, I feel like it's early morning, probably not late evening, but you have that low angle sun. So you got some nice golden glows kind of kicking around it. I love the midair kind of capture. I feel that the cropping could have been, I mean, I don't know if this was a live photo, if this is an iPhone, but sometimes if it's a live photo, you could have backed it up till the person, you might have had enough room to maybe bring them back into the middle of the frame. Not sure. That's a cool thing about live photos with the iPhone, is it kind of takes a second before and a second after kind of thing. So you can kind of change the key photo. But otherwise, yeah, it's definitely an iPhone or some sort of camera phone shot, and I dig it. And just a few tweaks, I think it could have been really good. So this was technical, right? Is what we're talking?
Yes, composition, technical skill.
Composition. So just because of composition, I'll keep it at a 7, my opinion. But that's where I'm at.
I like it.
One other thing that I'd like to throw out there on technical, it is quite desaturated. And so that means that the colors are not popping. They are quite flat. And the image as a whole feels like it's a bit dull. And so that is basically incorporating more color into the image, for lack of a better term. However, there's one thing that's been bugging me since I first saw the photo. And I know, of course, it's something that Satch can't work around because he blocked out the individual's face. But this entire image, for me, is about the individual. It's not about the person who's standing way off in the background. It's not about the trees. It's about the individual. And I can see even beyond the person's face that's masked, I can see into that individual, and I know that they're turning and looking at the camera. I can tell that based on their left shoulder and how they're orienting their body to look at the camera. And so if they're not looking directly at the camera, they're certainly glancing out of their side eye to look at the camera. And I feel like I'm missing most of the photo because I don't get that moment. I can't connect with the moment as much as I want to because I can't connect with the person emotionally behind the blanked out face. And so there is the dilemma, the dichotomy, as it were, kind of protecting the individual from the internet, but through that, it's protected the internet from gaining any emotional connection to the photo. What a freaking dilemma, hey?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, and so there's a couple of things here. Either like one, I'm not sure if like maybe Satch could have sent, because I seen it with the dot. I don't know, like to send it without it, so we could have at least seen it and then said, hey, like use this one so to protect the person, so we could actually kind of like properly assess it, or and not to be a jerk, pick a different photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are some really neat things that I really just dug about the photo. I love the bars for sure, but I love that the bottom bar is in line with the track lines.
Precisely.
Right? It just fits in my head. And yeah, the definitely turning, because you can see the hair as well as like flowing as it's coming back. And Satch jumped in here. He said she was looking back at the people behind her. I want her at the front of the image to illustrate how far ahead she was. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah. But that would have been all super easy to understand. And that's what photos are. When you're looking at a photo, you're trying to understand a moment. And without that critical detail there, it's like half a photo. And I know that sounds super harsh, but I'm just trying to make a point. Because looking back over the shoulder, now the cropping makes sense. Now the energy, the vibe, all of it makes sense. But the blanked out face robs the moment because you're trying to interpret the moment without information that's critical to the moment.
Right, and with the dot there, like not to be like, and because we're just like kind of stuck on it, but like because the dot's there, my eye just keeps going to the guy in the
Drawn
background
to it.
For sure.
over and over and over again.
Yeah, for sure.
And I have to give like Satch, like I've been really enjoying his photography. He's got the eye for it. Just some simple tweaks could definitely elevate what's happening.
Agreed.
Now, I have a technical question for you guys. Would you crop to the top of the bar? Like in my mind, that's the picture is from like the top bar to the bottom bar, versus keeping the trees in the bottom. And I'm just wondering because that's what my brain like locks in. The top of the trees almost seem superfluous.
So personally, I would have cropped in just a touch more so that the person looks like they are the focus, or the intention of the photo is the person. But I wouldn't have cropped it so tightly that I would have cropped the trees out, because the light on those trees is something that I would want to play with. And in order to play with that light, you'd have to get into some post-processing, or after the photo, you'd have to jump in some software. And I personally would hit that photo with a bunch of dehaze and some clarity, and I would, I'd focus things up and sharpen things up and saturate things a little bit more. But I'd be looking for that beautiful, that's either early morning or late evening, that golden hour, the warm light that Pat referenced. I'd want to hang on to some of that stuff for sure.
Yeah, I dig it. Any other thoughts, Pat, before we don't move on?
Yeah, I would have cropped it, not by too much though. I would have cropped it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Satch jumped in, said, "Fair critics. Next time we'll do better." There you go. I love it. Every photo, every day, we can do things better. Now, we've been talking about it, but let's get back to the scoring: creativity and originality. Overall, what do you think? I was going to go with 7. I was going to go with an 8. Pat?
I'll go with a 7.
7. All right, cool. I like it. In terms of relevance to theme, did he capture speed?
I say he did. Yeah, it's a 9.
Yeah, 9 for me.
Yeah.
I like
A
it.
girl running and midair, captured perfectly above the ground.
Faceless person running up no sex. Who knows?
It could be anything. Artistic factor, vibe.
The dot kills it. So I'm going to stay at a 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a 7.
I was at a 7 as well. Okay, perfect. Good to go. Let's bounce on. We got DR7606 is the Instagram. I don't actually know his name. So here is the photo, though. Boom.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
I want to love this one so much, but it's the soft focus that's killing me.
Soft focus.
Is it soft? Like, I wish I could see the original.
It is. Unless that's because Chance has put that up. It's difficult to put these kind of images up on the internet without maybe it stretching a little bit. It feels like it's being stretched horizontally, perhaps, because I'm looking at the dog's collar as the example, and that's definitely a soft focus. I'm looking at the eye, definitely a soft focus. It feels like there's a little bit of motion blur in there to my eye, almost like, if it was shot at 1/800th of a second, it needed 1/1000th of a second or something. That's just my first glance. I want to love this so much, but maybe it's a pan. Do you see? I don't see a point in that entire image that there is one singular crisp section. It feels like now it was a pan that was just a touch too slow to freeze the panning motion. What do you think, Pat?
Well, looking at if it was, yeah, it could have been a pan. Well, obviously, it probably was a pan.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like intentionally to blur the background, or we'd see more
No.
blur in those
Correct.
things. So it's obviously wide open or been post blurred out in the background, but mostly it's probably shot wide open. It looks like the grass is closer to us, and the foreground is a little sharper
touch.
than
Just a touch.
right. It's a solid. It's a solid attempt of a shot. I don't want to be
so
a jerk.
Close.
It's so good, but it's not tack
if
sharp.
I'm not seeing the nails on the dog, the toenails.
The pause, but the pause could be a little bit out of focus because they're moving faster than the torso.
Sure.
If the torso was sharp, like, and the pause were a little bit out, I think that would add to the speed. It could.
It could. The killer is that all that musculature, like the ribs and the musculature on the shoulder there, with just a little bit more, just a touch tighter focus and a little more contrast, that it would have been nothing but a ripple of greyhound muscle. Greyhound. That is a greyhound.
I love the colors, though. I love that the dog is so light and the green is so like green, like
it's so close to being a
the color. Yeah, the color's so good.
Yeah, it is.
I agree. Do you think a little bit like the color contrast is what makes the soft focus that much more noticeable because they're so contrasted against one another?
Yeah, it definitely makes your eye more aware of the soft focus for sure.
Yeah, it is a tough one.
I don't know if that photo could have been saved with more post-processing with contrast and dehazing and all of the good tricks of the trade. When I say save, I mean like make it into a stunning National Geographic photo versus what is arguably a great photo. It just could have been freaking amazing with just a 1/8 of a second difference.
Just a touch, eh?
Just a touch.
I love it. Well,
I think it's like a true focus issue. I don't think it was a shutter speed issue.
Yeah,
because it looks like in the foreground the grass is pretty sharp here.
Yeah,
there's a couple spots.
The tail is frozen in time to some degree. I just think it's just a touch off with the focus.
Well, what do you guys out of 10? What do you guys think? Composition, technical skill.
I'm still going to give this an 8.5, only because it was the focus that was lost, and like the color's good, the framing's good, the focus fall off behind the dog is super buttery. Like if it would have been tack, like that would have been like a 9.5 for sure.
For sure.
I dig it.
That would have been so money, but I'm giving it an 8.
Creativity, originality.
9 for me.
9. I like it.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9. Yeah.
9. Sweet. I have nothing to argue so far. This has been awesome. Relevance.
It's a 9.
Yeah.
9.
Yep, I was in the same boat. And of course, Stoke vibe. What do you think? I was at an 8 myself.
I want to give it a 9, but are you ready for it? I'm going to give it a 7 because I feel like I was robbed. And you know what? That's going to be hard for some people to hear. It's hard for me to say out loud, but that's the cold hard truth.
Yeah.
One of the things about seeing a potentially great photo and having been taking photos long enough that I see just, oh my goodness, if it would have just been ... it would have been an unbelievable photo. That's the problem with being a photographer that's in the game for a long time. I want that to be the amazing photo that it could have been, but it isn't because of just, and I don't even think it's technical skill set. I just think it was, the loss of time, the fate, chance, whatever you want to call it.
I didn't do anything. Come on now.
It's not because the photographer didn't care or isn't in the game. It's just time, man. And time is of the essence, as it were in photography. And man, you can miss a world-class photo by 1/4 of a second. So
missed opportunity.
And I'll just amplify that pain point just in the so whoever shot this doesn't feel bad or feel like we're being too critical. There's many babies that I've had to kill, and by that I mean I'll go shoot, say, something like Formula Drift, and it's like, whatever, we'll say one of the most starred drivers doing the best slide, doing the best thing, and my focus point is off, and it's just enough off that I have to kill it. And it literally kills me because it's such an amazing shot, except for it wasn't tack sharp, and it could be such a heartbreaker. And I still think this is a very valid submission, and I want to give the for Stokewise, I'm still giving it an 8 because as soon as it came on the screen, I was like, oh yeah, and then it was like, oh yeah,
oh no,
yeah. So I'll still give it a solid 8 though, because it's still like it still revved me up, and I was like, yes, the contrast, the color, everything was great.
I said I'd love to give it a 9, and then I dropped down to a 7. I feel like I should have given it an 8, but it's the coach in me. I can't help it. I've got to give it a 7.
There you go. It's all good. I don't have anything to argue. I put down 8 myself, but you're right. It is one of those things where you're like, oh, nice. Wait a second. Oh, no. I love it. Now, we're getting close to an hour here, but I just want to make sure, Pat, if you got some time, we can go over and go through them all.
Let's go. Yeah, no, let's do it.
Let's jump into the next one here.
And if people have questions, start posting them up. I'm willing to say a few more extra minutes to answer some questions, too, at the end.
I'm good with it. Actually, Dan jumped in here a second ago and said the P6, proper preparation prevents piss poor performance, which is 100% true. All right, let's jump into it. We got Chris Gore jumped through this one in here from out in the field.
That's cool.
And he was like, that's fast for a combine. I was like, you know what? All right, I dig it. So let's get some, what are you guys' first thoughts, just overall in general? Pat, start with you.
I dig it. It's... what I like about it is a few things here. I like the layers of the foreground to background. It takes me a minute to realize what's going on. It does visually display speed of a type here, like, with the dust and everything like that. And it really made me look at the photo for a while. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it's grainy. I don't know if it was an iPhone or just super cropped and we just lost quality and fidelity. So, I mean, it's still a 7.5 for me.
I dig it. Sean, what do you think?
Oh boy, this one is like really puzzling me because part of me wants to believe that the individual who took this photo then post-processing got their freak on and started adding all the grain and all of the, started playing with the image to turn it into what it is, so that I'm like, whoa, that is artistic. It's artistic to some degree. And so that's the part of me that wants to believe that that's what was done. The other part of me feels what is reality, or what actually happened, is it was probably taken with a phone, and then for the limitations of the phone, it put out a photo like this that is kind of noisy and kind of doesn't capture the moment crisply. But then again, because of that, I still kind of like it for what it is. And so whether it was artistically created or whether it was a limitation of the phone, I suppose is neither here nor there for me in the sense of consequentiality. I quite like the image. I personally would have done a few things with it, but for some reason, this one is quite artsy to my eye. I'm really liking it. And so I'm going to give it a, believe it or not, a 9.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
I think I'm gonna come up to an 8 for sure. I'm not gonna go to 9, but I'm definitely gonna give it an 8. Yeah.
I was sitting at a 7 because it looks optical zoom, like you guys are talking about. Like it seems like it's been digitally zoomed
It
in
does.
and then held. But it is a great photo, and I love the fact that like I know the combine itself is moving right up like towards the right of the screen, and the wind is blowing.
It's moving to the left.
It's no, it's moving right. It's the wind that's blowing it the other way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because to me, it looks like it was coming from the right, moving to the left.
The
Why do you
reason
think it's going the other way?
because of the boom arm on the left side there
Okay.
is they would normally track so that the boom arm's on the left side of the vehicle, so it would.
But they can pivot, no?
Some.
And
I don't
would
know what
say
type of
that,
tractor it is,
where
but that's
bib
that was my
because
feeling of it.
the
We're getting
dust.
into.
I know,
Yeah.
but the dust itself is starting from the left and blowing to the right. It's
Yeah.
originating from the left. No?
Yes. Yeah, the dust is originating from the left, moving to the right, and that's why
Yeah,
the
so
tractor is
then
also moving to the right.
All right. My sniper eye sees an entirely different thing, but
No,
okay.
that's cool. All good. I like it. This is what I love. And then Dan C jumped in, said, "Being a prairie boy, it just feels good to me." That's the other thing I love. Prairie photos, especially big sky country, when you can get that really hard line of the horizon. I always like those photos. But that's just me. Let's
Technically, so just for the individual, personally, I would have had some more saturation, made all of that foreground pop a little more golden, a little more saturated gold color. The sky would have made a little more blue. I would have taken out some of the noise, and I would have crisped up some of the dust to some degree. Like I would have created a little more dimensionality, I think.
that'd be cool. Pat, you got any other thoughts?
No, like I mean, I think the grain is what saves this photo. I think if you smoothed it out, I think it would just be it would kind of just be a bit of blobbyology.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, just based on cropping. Remember when you like? I'm just throwing this out to guys. General rule for doing a big shot like this, an environmental shot like this, something should be like 2/3 of the photo. We'll go with the rule of thirds. If you're doing a vertical crop like this, so like either cut a bit of the foreground out a bit so you get more sky, or go the other way. It would just make it just slightly more appealing.
Yeah,
That makes perfect sense. Creativity, originality. What would you guys put it at?
I'm giving it an 8.
I'm gonna give it a 7 because this was a snapshot of opportunity. I was like, oh cool, look at the friggin' blowing sand. I want a shot of that. So it's not super original. It's not super creative. It was a good shot.
I'm giving it creativity because the individual who sent it in didn't think conventionally about speed. I feel that's creative.
Ooh.
I put down an 8
Touche.
myself. I dig it. And when he sent it to me, and he was like excited about it. It was like, yeah, man, look, like it's speed, but like in a different. And I was like, yeah, man, I dig it. Relevance. What do you think?
I think it's still a 9. I mean, the guys are hitting the subject mark correctly. This is speed in a different way. I think it's 100% relative, relative. Yeah. Anyways,
Relevant.
I'm not
relevant. Thank you.
You're 9 too, Sean. I like it. I was
speed of
as well.
relativity, perhaps.
There you go. Artistic factor. Stoke vibe. What do you think?
I'm gonna go pretty. Yeah, I was gonna go with 8.5 on this, just because I love the layers. I actually like that it's desaturated. I like the fact that it's grainy. And it was just kind of like, yeah, what is this? What am I looking at? This is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm giving it an 8.5 because it actually takes me back to a East Berlin museum that I went into that had an image similar to this from sort of like the hayfields of, Central Europe kind of thing. And it's got that gritty post-Cold War feel to it from East Berlin. I don't know why I'm explaining it that way, but that's what it takes me back to. And
Yeah, is it a combine or a
8.5.
leopard?
Could be one or the other. I like your description of that, the Cold War style. It has that same kind of color tone as well. Like it just, I dig it.
It's like Ukrainian, the wheat fields of the 80s kind of thing. Eh?
Yeah, it does have like Berlin Wall kind of feel to it. I feel you, 100%. Any other thoughts before we move on to the last one? All right, we're gonna go back to Dallas Reynolds with the bikes. Bam, right there.
Ooh.
So, first thoughts overall. What do you guys think? Pat, I'm going to hit you first. What do you got?
Dallas, bro. Like, man, if you would have cropped that all the way just past that lady that's leaning against the fence, solid image. What? I'm not telling you how to shoot and be artistic or shoot anything, but I'm just using
Well,
a piece of
Dallas is
paper
on the
here.
bike. Dallas is on the bike, so he's just living his
Amazing.
best life. The photographer's,
Right, amazing. Is that what's happening here?
yeah,
But no, but it's
Dallas is on the bike, and the photographer is whoever,
Yeah.
right. Oh, well, I would have cropped it anyway. Screws work. Friggin' crop it. Yeah, and I understand, but yeah, crop that thing. Because everything else is like in such good focus. Bikes off the ground. Yeah, it's hitting all the points, and yeah, I would have cropped it. Just cropped it hard, made it my own.
Yeah, I dig it. Sean?
Yeah, and I wouldn't have cropped it so that it was like that because I quite like the couple next to the fence gate tracking the action. So I would have included them in it, but I would have cropped it just a couple of inches in front of his front wheel and then kept the portion behind the bike to include the couple there. And I wouldn't have made it a horizontal. I would have made it a vertical because I would have wanted to capture high enough above him that it actually gives a sense of flying. Because right now, because it's horizontal, it feels a little bit compressed to me. Even though I see how high he is off the ground, one of the things about the eye, the human eye, is I can understand that he's got elevation there. But by adding extra elevation above him, like sky, now it feels like flight rather than, oh, he's an inch or two off the ground. And so the mind, the eye plays tricks on the mind. And so cropping can give a sense of flight rather than a sense of compression.
It does. It's hard to say because it almost feels like the angle of the shot taken was just a little off. Like I almost would prefer just a little bit of an upward view of this but cropping wise, I think you guys are both right. You could go either way with it.
The photographer knew what he was doing, or she was doing.
Absolutely.
Because they put themselves exactly in that spot. They chose that spot because if you go back maybe about 10 feet behind the bike, where the white line in the center of the road ends, and I recognize these kind of roads from, small roads backcountry Ireland, what you'll see is just at the end of that line, the road drops a little bit, or the rise has taken him on his trajectory or his vector to get air, and then the road just drops a touch as he's launched. And so that road and that position was perfectly chosen by the photographer to capture this exact moment. And so the photographer knew where they were and knew what they were doing. I'm just simply saying I feel it should have been vertical instead of horizontal.
Makes perfect sense. What do you guys think out of 10? Composition, technical skill.
I'm giving it a 9.
So let me be crystal clear here. Both of these shots that were sent in were not shot by Dallas.
Correct.
Then it's a 0.
Oh yeah, I guess
it's a 0. As much as I'm appreciative of him sending in photos, and these are cool photos, bro. Like what? You're entering a photo contest with someone else's photos? I'm sorry, that's a 0.
I did not even realize that. That didn't even. Thank you for that clarification. I did not. That is, it's 100% on me. I should have been tracking that, and I didn't even think about it. So
but that is on us because, as per, I don't think we've been super duper clear. Because I want photos like this to come in. Like now, how is Dallas involved in this contest moving forward? If he's the Rad Master 9000 on the bike, and he can't take a photo of himself, and so now where are we at? This is a struggle for me right now.
That would be pretty fun. But
so what do we do?
Well, I think we should score it as per, but we'll give it maybe a penalty. So if it ties, then someone else will.
No way.
No.
Like I feel it's on us for not being super duper clear.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Pat's right.
Well,
You know,
I feel that we were clear, especially for the second contest. We want you to take a shot. It was very. I think it was quite clear, and I don't know if like we need the fine print. I wanted someone to. I want people to take pictures. I want people to take pictures, and the picture was within the photo window, and you have to take the picture. Like I mean, unless we're willing to track down whoever is watermarked on this, and I score this, and we send the prizes to that person. Um, are they a vet? I don't know.
see,
You know what I mean?
I see your point. Yeah, I see your point. I see your point.
Yeah, I'm tracking as well. All right. Well, I
can't throw out any penalties though.
Dude,
I really can't.
And like it would have been so cool. Like like you're at an event like this and you're riding that bike like that. Like sweet dude, I'm sure there was at some point you took a picture from the pits even with someone like with their like coveralls down, tied around their waist, their helmet off to the side, them all sweaty with the freaking bike on the racks and the tire warmers. Dude, I would have considered that speed. You know what I mean? That would have fit in the category. It would have been cool. You'd probably have one on your phone. Dude, could have sent that in. It could have been a true.
It's a great photo though. Come on.
It is a great photo. Whoever this watermarked on this took a picture.
The little devil thumbnail down in the bottom left corner. Whoever that is, good job.
Yeah. Solid. Yeah.
Sorry, Dallas.
Okay. Well,
sorry, Dallas. Pat's a jerk.
I'm sorry.
Get rid of both of those ones. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, this is the way it is.
Dude, I'm so happy you guys sending stuff in, but yeah. It is a photo contest.
Satch in Motion jumped in here and said, I give it to PJ. I could submit epic photos I haven't taken. That's a good point. Yeah, you're not the one taking it. And then Dan C says, well, damn, I must have submitted mine wrong. And I'm looking, I'm trying to find where you would have sent it, Dan. I don't see it anywhere, but if you got it, shoot it to me right now. I can put it up on the screen. Dan. So, but Dan Reynolds, unfortunately, sorry, or Dallas Reynolds, sorry, buddy. You just got nixed. So that's what we got so far. Okay, so we're down to 4, and I guess the top 3. What do you got? What do you got, Sean?
I still feel a certain level of responsibility that somehow I don't know. It's the responsible in me. Even when we've done it 100% right, even if we did or didn't, doesn't much matter. The patrol commander holds responsibility. I ain't the patrol commander. None of us is a patrol commander per se.
Yeah.
But if there's anything I learned back in the day, it's like there's only one person that's responsible. It's the freaking patrol commander. I'll take the heat on that, and we should have done something different, whatever that was. I don't know, but I do feel partially responsible.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And I mean, if anybody is the patrol commander, it's going to be Pat.
Yeah,
amazing.
That was really my point. I was waiting for Pat to pick it up.
Dude, I'll take full responsibility for this, and I've been trying to harp on this point from the beginning. So in the first one, we had a bit of like a learning curve, because we had photos that were sent in where there's like still snow on the ground, and the intention was to be I wanted people to take a moment out of their day within that month period, have that in the back of their head. The topic is speed. And you could be like on a street corner and do a panning shot of a motorcycle going by, and boom, you've done it. You've completed and I don't want to make it an assignment. I'm not trying to give you guys homework. I just want you to be taking a moment to be inside your own world and pause time. And so I tried to make that clear in the second one. We tried to make that clear in our videos and our intention. When we talked about the first video and when we went into the second, the first contest when going into the second contest. So, I mean, you can't enter, like, you're not going to enter a best painting contest with somebody else's, like with the Mona Lisa, you know what I mean? So it's just not, it should have.
I get it. Yeah. But, here we are. So it sucks. And, what we will have to do moving forward is, and I feel like I was feeling it on this one, and I just didn't know a way to put it across like super clearly other than hit Pat and Chance for the details. And that is, we need just like a simple screenshot or a simple like table of contents or however a menu that has the rules and regulations of the competition to some degree. Super simple, carved out, easy to understand. In 10 seconds or less, a person understands what we're doing. And we still don't have that to some degree, like easily, fast
Like, I don't know if you
Understandable.
guys have room because I'm not looking at the Instagram right now, but if there's room on the highlights, maybe we can make it like a photo contest highlights, and we put like, we can put those up in there. You're muted, Chance. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that, no problem. I can get that set up in an instant. I'll have that set up
Yeah.
later today, actually.
Good
Mhm.
And
job.
okay. So I have Dan Cameron's photo. I'm going to bring that up
Okay.
real
Oh,
quickly,
cool.
and
Yeah,
then
let's
All
see
right.
it.
also, but before I get to that, because it's going to take me a second, I have another one that I
Oh,
just found. I'm pulling them out from everywhere. So I got a magic
all right.
hat. I'm going to pull out another one here. This one's from
Good
Anthony
job,
Miller.
David Copperfield.
Right? I have all these things I can just appear, right? Boom, boom. We got that's not the right one. Let me remove that one. There we go. Bam.
Oh,
There we
shit.
go. Wow.
So this is and he put it in his data. It's a Sony A7R III 7200 is his settings. But yeah, so that came into the website. That's where I just pulled that off of, which is
Wow.
awesome.
Who did that come in from?
Anthony Miller.
Also
Tight.
known as
Like a
Drop Dead
tiger.
Imagery.
Bam.
There you go.
Yeah, no, yeah, me and Anthony have been talking for a bit, and yeah, he's a vet from on the other side of the border. Super cool guy, does a lot of rad shooting, and yeah, he's I think we kind of ended up chatting, because of this, a lot of this drift and like kind of motorsport stuff. We have both shot for Pazmag, so I will judge this pretty hard, but I think
I'm
it's a pretty
judging it
amazing photo.
super hard, but
Yeah,
it's a super good photo.
super good photo. Yeah.
So on that note, then, what are you guys' first thoughts? What do you think, Sean?
Well, it really is an amazing photo. These are the kind of photos that I want to take that I'm not capable of, uh, either due to my technical abilities or due to my equipment. Mostly my equipment is what I'm going to blame. But honestly, the amount of reps that you've got to do to take these kind of photos is something that I don't have under my belt. I might have more photo shutter button presses than the individual, given that I've probably been taking photos longer, but I haven't taken these kind of photos 1 million times. And so I just don't think this is within my repertoire of capabilities. So I'm kind of floored by it to some degree. I am hyper focused right now on that front wheel. I believe I can see through the spokes and I'm almost seeing like track through the bottom portion of that
Mm-hmm.
wheel. It is so tight. It is so epic of a photo that I could spend another 15 minutes just looking at all the data points on it. There's a lot to take in this photo, but it's spectacular. That's all I got to say.
It is absolutely killer. Pat, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I don't know if I've seen this one before. If he posted this one up on Instagram at all, but I know he's been shooting some drift recently. He does a lot of cool stuff. He does a lot of video too, but I've always enjoyed his photography. So he's done a shutter drag here. So this everyone's tracking what he's done here, right? So he's done a shutter drag with a lower speed shutter. So you can see it's the blur behind the car is not just aperture and depth; it's also movement, right? So because you can look at like the words on the sign and stuff like that, they're blurred because he's panning with the shot. And so to pan and snap with a slower shutter and get everything sharp on the car is a skill in itself.
It is.
Um, and so he selected like a great shutter speed, like you get the smoke pouring off the tires are spinning. Not one wheel is stopped. A lot of times in drift, sometimes you'll get a wheel that's stopped because of the way that the driver is negotiating the slide, and so you'll have like a front wheel that's locked up perfectly still and the back wheel's still spinning, and it's like it doesn't make a great photo sometimes. The only thing that I would be a little bit technical, and he most likely has a very good reason why, is I would have wanted that front end of the vehicle. I would want some more breathing space off the front bumper. Um, but there's probably something there or a reason why he cut it off there based on his photography. That was a technical choice. So that's my guess.
Yeah, I
But it's a
felt the
great
same
photo.
way. You know what I do appreciate is looking at that front wheel again. You can see the spoke blur. You can see the
Mm-hmm.
the speed distortion of the spoke blur, And so it's just an amazing technical photo, particularly when you look at the driver and co-driver. Look at the co-driver with the phone in the hand. I can see the lens on the phone capture. And so I love the irony of someone taking a photo or a video while this photo is being taken of them taking a photo. Just somehow it works for my eye. And I mean, honestly, it's a spectacular photo.
It really is. Once you drew me to the front wheel and the gap between it, where you can see the barrier and behind there, I started looking at it, and you can see the shoe, the brake shoe.
That's right.
Up in the top left corner of that, sure. And like it's so crisp. This is such a slick photo. What do you guys think? Out of 10, what would you put it at?
9.5.
No, that is high praise. Wow.
Only because I'd have given 9.75 if those would have been Brembo brake pads that were red and would have been popping just a touch.
Just a touch.
Amazing.
I put down, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'll give it a 9.5 for sure. I would have loved to have seen that crop just a little bit higher off the bottom and a little bit more bumper, but I'm almost positive that there's a technical reason why we don't have more bumper there, so the crop is fine. It's such a good shot. Yeah, very talented. And before I give the rest of the scores, and I'm not being a jerk or anything, but this is kind of the standard. When I said speed, this is what I expected. But that's the standard to attain. Not that you will, but that's what you want.
No, I'll never attain this, I don't believe. But that's what's important about these kind of things that we're doing right now, is I aspire to these kind of things. And as a photographer, you don't know how far you can stretch yourself until you see examples of what you can stretch into. And so anyone who's watching this right now as a photographer should just be jonesing to grab their camera and go do a better job. I know I am, because now I see what's possible.
Yep. Yeah. I got nothing to say. I put down 9 right off the bat. I wasn't even looking at 0.5s and so on and so forth, but that is an incredible shot. Creativity, originality. What do you think?
I'm hanging at a 9.5 again. I know.
Yeah, it's a solid 9. You went out there with intention. Yeah. I'll go 9.5. I think it's yeah.
I dig it. All right. Relevance.
9.5.
This is the standard.
Yeah.
I'm giving this one a 10 on relevance. Like, this is exactly what I'm looking for.
Right?
So that's where I'm at. Yeah. And then artistic factor, stoke vibe.
Yeah, it's got all the 3D pop. It's got the smoke show. It's got the
colors
magic.
Are just amazing
it's
too.
Got the freaking bokeh goodness in the background. It's got the colors. It's 9.5.
Wow. 9.5s across the board from Sean.
Yeah. I'll go 9. I just know because I just keep on looking at that crop of, even if you would have brought that foreground up just a bit and just had the grass, like just chopped off that all that gravel. Oh, yeah. I think it would have been
yeah.
All right. That's that is sitting on the standard. I like it. Any other thoughts on this one before we hit the last one? We got Dan C's photos still to come, and then anything else?
Apologies, Dan C, for whatever you're about to put up.
I apologize. Trying to follow this is going to be tough. It's a hard show. But, all right, let's hit it. Here we go. Dan C, right here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which I dig. I really like the lathe. I like woodwork, and lathe work is just so much fun to watch when it's done right. So what do you guys think? Pat, first thoughts?
Well, shit, son, I wasn't expecting that. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear, but yeah, that wasn't what I was expecting at all, but it definitely falls in the category, and I'm definitely kind of stuck in this photo. And I like the square crop. The square crop's kind of cool. Yeah, I like it.
John, any thoughts?
I like it, but now, as I said, coming from the technical excellence of the last photo, it's such a contrast now to it's kind of cropped in, it's bordering on pixelated. It's not bordering, it is pixelated. And so the contrast and the lighting is just, technically it's a challenging photo. And I appreciate what was trying to be captured, but technically the capture is not as good as it could have been. And I feel that that's a limitation of the device, whether it was a phone or lighting or whatever the case is, that the setup was technically challenging, either equipment or lighting based.
Well, Dan jumped in here and he said, "Wahaha, you hurt my feelings. Cutting speed is 1300 RPM. iPhone video capture with eyeball editing." So video capture, that would be it.
Yeah.
That's a tough spot. But, and yeah, 1300 RPM is hard to capture. That is not an easy spin.
So it is hard to capture. And the RPM itself wasn't captured. And so because it's a video capture, the wood that should have been spraying off of that is not as obvious. Right. And if it would have been an actual photo, the obviousness of some of the aspects going on in here would have stood out more. And so the video pixelation dirties things up enough that it's hard to delineate what is precisely going on. I know what's going on. I feel what's going on. But visibly, you can't see what's going on per se.
Yeah. I really like the hand is what I'm constantly drawn to. And what, to your point, Sean, working a lathe, you should be like those little shavings. You should be like seeing those in midair, mid-flight, kind of turned off to the side. And that would really bring that picture up. But I dig it. Any thoughts? 1 to 10? What do you think, Pat?
1 to 10. I'll still give this like a good 7.5, maybe even an 8. Let me think about this, because I'm looking at the cropping. Cropping is good. This photo looks like it's like off of like a textbook from like 1975 on woodworking.
For sure.
It does.
You know what I mean?
It does.
And so that vibe, like the cropping worked out well. The light, the colors, I think, are good. You know, it's not terrible. It's not a terrible shot. I'll stick at 7.5 though, because even if this was an iPhone, it could have did better.
Yeah.
I'm hanging at a 7.
Yeah. I put it as 7, and just because I know it's a video capture, it's not really a photograph, right? Like you're capturing from the video itself, but it's not. And I know it's just me nitpicking, but
such a nuance, and like it's funny too. You know, I agree with you. I agree.
Be careful.
But at the same time, yeah, I agree with what Janice is saying, but you know, it is taking a photo, you know, 24 times a second.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, what's the intention? You know what I mean? Like, the intention was to capture this, so I feel it's not as different. But like when you take like a video of, let's say, like a car drifting through a corner, and then you like pick that one frame, well, there was no technical thought of that story or anything. And anyways, I could babble on forever. You're never going to get, I shouldn't say that. Most times you will not get a video capture that will look like a good photograph, unless you're shooting with like a Phantom or like some red camera, a Komodo, whatever, that's like shooting like a zillion frames per second with a global shutter.
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense. Creativity, originality. What do you think?
8.
I'm 8. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I give it an 8 too. I think the framing angle is really good. The intention to capture what he's trying to capture. I think creatively, like this is. I know exactly what we're looking at and why it was submitted as the speed category. Like I think it's good.
Yeah,
I know what he was trying to capture. That's the 8. What he did capture is not an 8. But creativity-wise, the intention, I'm giving it an 8.
I dig it. Relevance. I'd say 9, because that really is what we're talking about. Myself,
it's 9. Yeah, he's on topic.
Yeah, and then last one, artistic factor, vibe, stoke. What do you think?
Sorry, buddy. It's a 7 for me.
It's a 7. It's a 1970s textbook. It's not getting me that stoked.
I was gonna say. I was going to say a 7 as well. Okay. Well, then we're looking pretty good out of, I mean, total of 8 submissions, I guess. 6 legal ones. I don't know how else to put that.
They're legal.
You know, and we got a pretty solid set here now. I'm going to say obviously, but looks like the winner, Anthony Miller, for sure,
Yeah,
with
pretty
the
obvious, though. Yeah,
with
the smoke show.
the smoke show. This is our winner right here, Anthony Miller, with a 37 out of 40, which is on my scoring 37. On your guys' scoring, well, 9.5. You're looking at like a 30, 38.5 overall. That's pretty good, I would say. So that's definitely the winner. And then let me do some quick math here while I'm thinking.
Hey, Pat. So, given that you know the individual to some degree, you know you haven't held hands and any of that good stuff, but how tight are you with him? And if you're super tight, is that going to somehow impact the results, given that you have to, like, dip out of judging? Like, are you...
Amazing. Yeah, no, it's kind of interesting, and so actually, to be honest, let's go down story road here for about 2 seconds. This is where I got the idea of this whole photo contest thing. This is where I got the idea to teach veterans photography. So I had met a bunch of, through Instagram, like mostly like not in person, but photographers that were vets, and they all kind of came through like the same sort of way of coming around to being photographers. So they would go to the woods, they'd bring a camera, they'd want to take a cool shot, they would take a shot of some scenery, then they'd get into the editing, then they would and then they all kind of fell into their own niche, a lot of them, right? And Anthony is one of those guys that shot all the same, like, similar stuff to me. And so, of course, we've always kind of followed each other. Like, he's done a lot of firearms photography as well, some cool, like, high speed, like stuff, like with like the combatos and stuff like that, like doing photography like CQB and things like that, and firearms. He's in the States, which is awesome, because I mean, if Canada was a little bit more lenient, I'd probably shoot similar things. So of course that's where, and of course both same last name is Miller, both like Call of Duty, so you kind of just hit it off like talking. But it was based on that this kinship, that I was like, well, how can I like hopefully like bring other people into the fun of this and discover this and all the other mental aspects and the art therapy and everything else that comes with it. So so I mean, we talk, I mean, probably like every like couple months we'll like have like a good DM back and forth, and then we'll just kind of admire each other's work, kind of thing. That's kind of like the relationship.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And well, I mean, I have a whole prize pack here from Silvercore, so he's going to get a prize pack from them. And then we got number in second place is DR7606 with the Greyhound, which is a beauty. Yep, that's another great shot. Came out at 34 out of 40. And then in third place, Mr. Dave Curvin with the Dogs.
Dude, so close.
Yeah, yeah. He came in with a 32 out of 40, and again, I want to say thanks to everybody for sending in your photos. This is awesome. I love doing these reveals and these little touches on how to be a better photographer just in general, and I love it. This is awesome. So I'm going to get the prize pack out to all 3 of those guys, and I will make sure that everyone is sorted out. We got Dan C jumping in here, says, awesome, thanks, I got some ideas now. I love you guys. So awesome. This is a good time. So any final thoughts on the photo contest in general? Anything at all to pass on before we shut her down for the afternoon? Sean, what do you got?
I do have a thought, but it's for you guys, and it's a question to you guys. And I know we kind of play with these things in the background. Not everyone gets to hear our thoughts when we're trying to improve these kind of things that we're doing. But, now we're going to make it more visible to anyone who's listening to this an hour later. What are we going to do different for next month to improve what we just did?
Pat, I'm putting you on the fire. What do you got?
A couple things. So I think we need like the rules written out so that they are clear. I mean, we can assume that it was passed on, but yeah, no, I want it to be clear. I want people to experience photography, and maybe we'll go with something different. So I think we should pull the next subject, because like going from, we went, where we go from, what was before speed again? Four wheels.
Four
So
wheels,
four
yeah.
wheels to speed. So I feel like we need to like open it up, whether it's wildlife, landscape, urbanscape, something. You know what I mean? We'll put up a
Yeah.
few things and let people vote on that. Street photography,
Let's do a
I'm kind of
poll.
open.
Yeah.
Let the troops vote. The collective
Absolutely.
troops.
Mhm. And I want to, and this isn't a point about how we can make it better kind of in the hot wash, but I do want to make a point that please do not take anything that we're really saying to heart.
Oh,
Um, so, like in school, when I went to school for professional photography, every week we would have a critique. We had to submit 3 photos, and we would have both classes, our senior class and our class, critique them, as well as our instructors critique them. And the only thing I gained was, more drive, more ideas, better, just improve me. It improved me a lot in a short amount of time. So please take it as true critique. You can throw it completely in the garbage. You're like, nope, I was artistically going for that. I don't care about what you think. And that's fine. Or you can take some of the things that we're saying and apply it to the next time.
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't think I would really add anything in terms of changing stuff. Absolutely, the rules are going to get written out. We're going to put it in our Instagram stories, whatever those things are, little bubbles above the actual stuff. We're going to make sure that that is on there and good to go. Make sure that's always covered and has all the rules, as well as previous submissions, previous contests. The polling for the topic, absolutely, I'm going to set that up as soon as we're done here, and we'll put the poll out. That poll will run for a little while. That'll give us time to get everything sorted and done correctly. And then, like last time, we'll put out a video as per when the contest is going to start. You have that period of time till the deadline to get your photos in. Now, we were talking about having the photos done in that time period. Do we want to open that up at all? Do we want to allow people to put in older photos, or should it only be between the start and the finish that shot has to be taken?
I think it's got to be start to finish. I mean, you got to stick, personally, like for mindfulness purposes, to be really engaged in what we're trying to do. I feel like if we choose street photography for next month, then the photo has got to be taken within that month period of something on a street, that week kind of thing. So,
Pat, you got any thoughts on that?
So, yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why it can't be within that time period. I mean, we could open up the border a little bit, say within the 30 days or whatever of the contest being announced or something. I don't know, because sometimes we're like, because sometimes we're like a little bit shorter. Yeah, because sometimes we're like, it's like 20 days by the time we announce it to the time we judge it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
within the framework of explaining what this month's competition is going to be, within that frame, then that's where the photo's got to come from. Don't want to see something from 10 years ago. It's got hardly any relevance to what we're trying to achieve, and that is being mindful in the moment.
Yeah. And I mean, the best way, if for those that are watching, if you guys want this to we're going to do it for a year, but if you want this to get bigger, you want it to be, the prizes to be more effective, we need to get your submissions in. So make sure you guys are taking photos of the topic, whatever that topic is, and it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be sent so that we can actually get it. The best way to put it up, I'm going to say right now, is the website. It holds everything. It captures information. Get it up on the website. You can send it to me, but if it goes to my DMs, it might get lost in the clutter. So the best way to do it, put it up on the website, and then we can punch it from there. That would be the best, easiest thing for me to help you guys get your photos up on the show itself. Sean, any thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts are, I do believe, and I know that, Pat, your intention was to encourage other veterans, first responders, Leo, to get involved in photography for all the right reasons, but it is kind of limiting our footprint to encourage anyone, all people that are involved with the collective, to put in more photos. And quite frankly, I feel like it takes a certain critical mass. It takes a certain sort of amount of photos for the contest to gain traction or to gain notice and to start gaining that order of magnitude critical mass rollout that I think it needs to really move the needle on mental health. And so I'm not going to say we have to open it up to everyone, but I do know that everyone wants it open up to everyone. And so I just want to throw that at you guys. I know, again, mostly I'm throwing it at Pat, and I know what Pat's intention is. That Pat's intention mirrors my intention. And so there's that. But, maybe it's something that we just got to think about a little bit more. I don't want to put Pat on the spot. I don't want to see Pat cry.
Amazing.
In real time.
I kind of do. So,
oh, I don't mind.
But one other thing on that note specifically is like, yes, we need a critical mass. So we need y'all out there to be sharing this with everybody. Go poke your photographer buddies. Go whatever. When you're talking to your friends, be like, hey, the collective's running this contest. Get your photos in, because we are going to be continuing to do prizes. We are reaching out to other organizations to get prizes in. So make sure, and I want to highlight this. This is another, sorry, before you get into this, Sean.
Yeah.
I want to thank Silvercore and Travis Bader for sending out the prize packs, because he sent me a whole chunk of stuff that I'm going to be divvying up and sending out to the troops that just won, because, I think they're going to dig it as well. So I got some hats, we got some t-shirts, we got some stickers, we got some all kinds of stuff, good swag from Travis, not Tyler. So I really want to say thanks to Travis and his whole crew out there that got that stuff out to us. It's going to really appreciate it. What were you going to say, Sean?
So just want to let everyone know that really the purpose of this, you taking photos, is not just to win a prize. It is to encourage other people to get involved in this little game that we're playing. It's all in fun, but it's all in learning. And so there's no downside to this competition. And don't feel like you've got to wait for the perfect day to take the perfect photo. You can throw in more than one photo. You can submit a photo every day if you like. I mean, bombard the boys with next month's photos. And also thanks to Trav for stepping up and supporting, of course. But how we're going to get other sponsors involved in this is by doing what Chance just did, and that's properly thanking the sponsor, but making sure that the sponsors feel like there's value in this. And I've saw value in this today, like people wanting to see something that they've never looked for, perhaps in the past. I think it's a beautiful thing to specifically start looking for things that maybe you've never seen before. It's like a whole new existence to some degree. So I really do want to push this thing.
I agree 100%. Pat, you got any final thoughts? Anything before we shut her down?
Yeah, well, yeah, and again, like everything that Sean said is exactly like my intention here, and we will probably revisit again who we open this up to, but you can literally type in photo contest into your browser, and there are a zillion. And the idea is I want to give back. I want to bring this one tool of being able to take a photograph, pause time, reflect within it. It seems, some people might find it weird. Just try it out. And so we're going to do a poll for the next topic, and hopefully we get some good input. I hope to see some good votes, because I want to see people participate. And don't be afraid of showing your work. Don't be afraid of showing your work at all. And I think my final thought on all of it is, just go do it. Try it. I would love for whoever's watching to just try it and send in your photo. And you can send in as many as you want. Again, we'll probably narrow you down to like maybe 2 or 3 for the actual judging. It's God, I don't know. I'm just so passionate about it. I can't really speak about it. So I'm having a hard time here, because I really think that there's an art therapy element to this. And we also put out a poll, hopefully, or I will. What's the first lesson you want to learn? Do you want to learn light basics? Do you want to learn mobile photography, like some tips and tricks? What can I put out as a first tutorial for the next subject?
Nice.
I dig it. I dig it. So we'll have some polls out right away in the next little while. We'll get everybody involved as much as we can now. And this is to say, like the veteran photo contest, it may stay to veterans and first responders, but that doesn't prevent anyone from taking photos, right? Like if you're out there and you're watching right now and you're like, oh, well, I can't really put my photos in, so I can't really win the prizes. So what? Take the photo. Use the theme anyway. Go out and find that moment and just kick some ass. Use your phone. How to do that. How to be present. How to kick ass in the present. There's a trick right there. Any final thoughts, Sean, before we shut her down?
No. Thanks to everyone who put in their photos. I know it takes a little bit of brass to do it. It takes some guts. But I wish this kind of thing would have been happening 30 years ago. I was looking for these kind of things. I was looking for communities like this. I wanted someone to help me take better photos. And so, man, I wish it would have existed back in the day, but it exists now, so take advantage of it.
Yes, absolutely. Take advantage of it. And with that, you can continue to learn, build, and grow. We'll see y'all next week. Jimo.
Thanks everybody for watching and being part of the collective. If this has sparked any thoughts or resonated with you, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us grow and keeps the conversation going. We'll see y'all next time.